Welcome back to another Lost in the World review. Let's talk about High on Life. So the amount of mileage you're going to get out of High on Life depends on if you're the type of person who can watch a full season of Rick and Morty back to back and have endless laughs, or if you can't sit through a single episode of Rick and Morty without throwing up in your own mouth. If you didn't know already, High on Life is from the brain of Rick and Morty producer Justin Roiland. If you know anything about him, you'll know exactly what to expect here. A very psychedelic, acid trip of a journey with a lot of jokes. Some will argue too many, some will argue that they're hilarious.
You're being spacist, and he's not my boyfriend yet.
Trust me, Flimborgs are bad news.
Come on, have my back here.
Okay, yeah, you got me there.
Thank you.
He just admitted it.
I don't think I can take much more of this guy.
If you find silliness just plain silly and not even vaguely funny, then this game just may not be for you. But look, don't let the focus on comedy detract from some super smart level design, fun platforming, fantastic Metroidvania elements, and a thoughtful combat sandbox that does elevate High on Life from just a shooter with a lot of jokes that you may or may not find funny, to a shooter with very strong gameplay elements that has a lot more going on under its not so serious exterior, with a lot of jokes you may or may not find funny.
Yes, what's up? My name's Stan, and I sell vials of alien cum. I know.
What? Oh, and it has JB Smooth voicing the shotgun. I mean, it's JB Smooth, man. So without further ado, let's... No, please. So without further ado, let's do it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get High on Life. So at the core of High on Life is comedy. I mean, it's written by the guys who did Rick and Morty. The style of comedy, the level of comedy, if you want to call it level. I love Rick and Morty. I could sit through a whole season of Rick and Morty and just leave very, very happy. But that style of comedy is not for everyone. If you do not like Rick and Morty, I find it hard to believe you're going to be able to sit through what is really a 13-hour script of Rick and Morty. Oh my god.
You're helping this shop that's
Shut up, please. Please shut up.
First sale they ever made. That's probably what's gonna sell the little egglings.
Oh my god.
Off to college.
Ah,
Yes.
oh, fucking hell.
What was I saying? Oh, Tiffany.
Lord.
I had a real one. She was. Oh, whoops. I just realized I'm late for my big date. I'm gonna go fuck another really hot Grayton. Wish me luck. It was so nice meeting you.
Oh, thank God.
Finally, thank God. I don't know how much more I could have taken.
Which begs the question, why was this game given to some reviewers who do not like Rick and Morty's sense of humour, clearly? I've seen some reviews give this game a 1 out of 10 because they don't like the sense of humour. That's like giving me a Formula 1 game to review when I don't like watching Formula 1. I don't care about one detail about tyres, oil, or whatever the hell those people are into. It's then like asking me to review a Formula 1 game that makes me actually race a 61 lap race for every single second of it. I would hate it. Why would you make me review that? So I don't get why people would make somebody review this game that despises the sense of humour that the Rick and Morty team produced. Anyway, moving on. Now, if you are the type of person that either doesn't know what Rick and Morty is about, or you just know that you don't like the sense of humour that they provide, I would highly recommend picking up this game on Xbox Game Pass, giving it a go for a few hours, seeing if you can put up with the incessant chatter that is in the game. Now, you can turn down that chatter. It is an option in the settings to turn down how often the guns talk to you. But I would definitely do that rather than buy it on Steam, which is like £60 on Steam, and I probably would say if you're not sure what you're getting yourself into, it might not be worth that gamble. Now, Rick and Morty have a very psychedelic, acid, trippy style when it comes to universe building and character design, and that is recreated here faithfully. Everything is bright, colourful, kind of melting at the corners, and that extends into every aspect of High on Life, whether it be the way the NPCs blink at you aimlessly, the way they ramble on about random things that end up being just a bizarre anecdote.
So, what exactly are you doing out here?
What? I'm fishing. You can tell I'm fishing, right?
Oh, right, duh, of course, sorry. It's very obvious, yes. So, have you caught anything?
No, never have, never will. No fish can live down here in this sludge.
If there aren't any fish in there, why are you fishing? What is that? What's going on?
Because I'm still working up the courage to drown myself.
Yikes, wow, okay. TMI maybe, a little bit.
But honestly, all in all, it made me laugh. Overall performance isn't amazing. Like, I wouldn't say the performance of the game held up at all times. I did have some FPS drops, especially in the busier sections. Luckily though, it doesn't really matter, and that's because the gunplay in this game isn't about precise headshots. It's about big, glowy, green, purpley, AoE explosions everywhere, and making those guns combo together. Overall, the presentation on High on Life is a real reflection of its brainchild, and that is Justin Roiland, the producer of Rick and Morty. It's very trippy, it's very psychedelic, it's a trip. Story-wise, it's pretty simple fare. Your parents basically go on holiday, you step out the door to find planet Earth being invaded by a drugs cartel from another universe, and they are basically killing and harvesting humans to smoke them in bongs as the next clean high. Your job is to actually go and kill the cartel member's lieutenant to stop this horrible crime. Yes, as silly as it sounds. You meet a couple of characters on the way. It's all done. Everything in this game is about setting up jokes. It's about making the player laugh. There's not much more to the story. There's small, like, plot twists, if you want to call them that. I wouldn't even call it a plot twist, really. But really, the story is just there to allow the foundation of comedy. Really, the game's at its best when it's telling jokes that everyone would get, rather than maybe just the vulgar jokes that only some people would like. The video game references are fantastic. This is one of my favorites.
Switch to the other controller port or you won't be able to hurt me. Just kidding. There aren't any controller ports anymore. Hey, you got the Metal Gear Solid reference, right? Yeah. It's a shame what cut to Kojima, right? He'll land it on his feet. He'll be fine.
And honestly, the game's full of this stuff, and it's what made me laugh. I wish I could put them all in, but then I'd spoil your own experience. But yeah, these type of jokes are where it's at its best. I was saying that I did really laugh at the other stuff too.
Of your bullshit.
Yeah, it's...
Who's there? Who are you?
Hey, hello there, friends.
Oh, I think it's the buyer.
Hey, are you the buyer?
Yeah, we're here to buy a knife. You guys are selling a knife, yeah?
Oh, perfect. You're really late. We were starting to get worried.
Just go with it. No shooting.
All right, here's the product. A genuine talking knife. I gotta be honest with you, he's a real piece of shit.
He's extremely violent. He basically only talks about wanting to kill people in very disturbing ways.
Fuck you, I'm gonna carve out your anal cavity. I'm gonna make it 8 times as big. Your shit's just gonna drop right out of there.
See what I'm talking about?
Like other animated TV comedy shows such as Family Guy, American Dad, etc., they do love to drag on a joke for a very long time, and it's part of like a comedic vehicle that is used very often in these type of shows. I personally find it hilarious. They do it a lot here, and if you add that onto just the sheer amount of dialogue in the game, that might be off-putting for some. But again, sounding like a broken record, if you know what you're getting into, you're probably going to be totally fine with it. So as I alluded to at the start, there is some fantastic Metroidvania-esque elements in this game, and it really does go together very well with the excellent level design. You know, visually, like I said, it's like a Pixar movie, and every level is like a different Pixar world that you could have plucked from any of its many universes. The structure of the game is simple. You pick up a bounty, you go through a teleport to a planet, you talk to a few people, figure out where the bounty is, and go kill him. And generally what are really good boss fights, by the way. They're always using the different weapons and equipment that they give you and making a moment of it. The enemy variety is lacking. I mean, generally you fight the same 5 enemies, and to be honest, I reckon 2 of them are probably the same anyway. But the toys they give you to engage in these very simple fights between the bosses are fantastic, and they just allow for a lot of fun. Though it's nothing out of this world, it's nice to punch a shield back in someone's face 4 times, or to launch someone in the air with a special of one weapon, then hit them in the middle air with another weapon and make them explode with a special of another, etc, etc. Those specials and alternate and primary fires of the different guns combo together really nicely. Again, with every bounty punctuated by a lot of silly minute-to-minute moments, some which make completely no sense whatsoever, but again, I'm pretty certain half of the Rick and Morty team are taking psychedelics of some sort while writing their jokes. It does generally work really well in my opinion. Enemies offer silly quips on death. The platforming, by the way, the platforming here is really underrated. I loved the way the levels open up, the way you've got to kind of figure out how to get across to certain paths. There's a lot of collectibles in each level. You can bash open treasure chests with your knife to get pesos, which can then be used to upgrade your suit and your guns. Some of those upgrades are mods, which actually change the way the gun plays. And there's also really, really silly mini games that kind of punctuate the levels and the flow of combat. I mean, one of them is like a glorified office worker game. I don't know how else you describe it, where you literally tick boxes and file paper for about 5 minutes.
They're here.
Hey,
you must be the new office clerk, right? Just sort through that paperwork for us. We're so strong.
I have no idea, Kill.
Yes, I will see.
Bureaucracy simulator.
Oh, jeez. Okay, this is more paperwork than I anticipated. All right, better get to work.
What the fuck? But yeah, it's all tongue-in-cheek. It's all done with absolutely no care about how it would be interpreted or how it would make the player feel. It's just done to kind of mess with your brain a little bit. In all honesty, some games are really difficult to review and some are very simple and straightforward. I would definitely put High on Life in the latter category. That's not because it's not divisive or people are going to have polarizing opinions on it. It's because for me it really boils down to something very simple. Do you like a certain style of comedy? Because that is the core of this game. Doesn't matter if you like first person shooters or Metroidvania game. Do you like the comedy that Rick and Morty via the TV show, or let's say even Family Guy for example, that they inject into the landscape of comedy? If you despise that, everything is lowbrow, everything is vulgar, then just don't play this game. There's no point. There's literally nothing here for you. If, however, you love that stuff, if you're huge fans of that type of comedy, you know, the Justin Hoiland, Seth MacFarlane style writing of bizarre, out there jokes that are quite risque at times, then, you know, this is going to be up your street. You're going to love it. There's going to be 8 hours of laughs. I laughed a lot during this game. I enjoyed the boss fight. And even when there's not boss fights, you aren't really enjoying the silly comments enemies make, the odd interactions with NPCs on every single planet. There's a lot to make you smile here, and a lot that made me laugh in that really weird, awkward laugh I have.
Hey, where you guys go? You promised me to stay with me. Hey,
I knew it.
Coming back.
You sound fine now.
No, oh, I'm dying. No, I'm actually, not for real this time, though. Oh my God, don't go anywhere. Stay with me, thank you. Oh, here I go. Oh my God. Oh.
All right, shit. I guess that's it then.
Hey, what the fuck? You left me again. I'm not dead yet, assholes. Oh, come back and stay with me, please.
Look, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it is fun, and there's a lot to be said of fun. I'm feeling a strong 7 for High on Life. And you know what? It has a lot of replayability as well. If you want to go back, level up your suit, explore the levels, there's a lot to do here. And by using different guns at different times as well, you can get a lot of different dialogue that you would have missed first time. It is at £60, I think a touch expensive for that, but it is on Xbox Game Pass, and if you can play this on Xbox Game Pass, honestly, you really can't go far wrong if you like that sense of humour. That's all I have to say on High on Life. I hope you enjoyed that. I am going to finish up Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, very different game to High on Life, and I'll hit you up with that review in a few days' time, hopefully. Take care, hit a like, subscribe, man, it helps me out. I'm trying to get to a place where I can get games early and review them and give my take on them. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for anybody who comments, likes, spreads the word on the videos. I appreciate anybody who spends time watching my videos. So yeah, thanks a lot, take care, and look after yourselves.